Hey everyone, what's going on? This is Avery coming at you with another video, and in this one I'm going to show you how to set up your own webinar for your online business, your prospects, team members, and for any business in general using Google Hangout. Okay, so what we're going to do now is type in Google Hangouts on the search engine, of course, and then we're going to click here on Google Hangout, which in our case appears first on Google search result. Then it takes us to our Google Hangout back office, in which we're going to click on menu, and then we're going to click on Hangout on Air, which of course will take us to our Google Plus dashboard area. And then what we're going to do now is clicking on Create Hangouts on Air. Now this is where you put in the name for your webinar and the details about the webinar, like what this Hangout is going to be about. So, let's put, for instance, test as the name. And I'm going to put something like a getting started tutorial for new members, okay? Now, you can start the webinar right away, or you can schedule your webinar to begin later on a specific time, like a day or hour. And as far as the duration goes, as you can see on the right, you can record up to 8-hour webinar, and of course you don't need to make that long webinar, as the average duration of a webinar that online marketers do online usually would be about, let's say, 40 minutes, 50 minutes to an hour and a half to the maximum in average. So anyway, I'm just going to choose now, since I'm not going to create a real webinar because it's just a test. So I'm just going to to choose myself here as audience, since I have to include myself in this field in order to move on and create a webinar, right? So I'm going to click on share, and it's going to take us to the page where people can watch your webinar from. And of course you can use the trailer if you want to learn more about how to use this tool. And this is also the page where you can actually, excuse me, where you can actually get to decide how you want to run your Hangouts before you start one. So for instance, you can go to the details box, in which you can click on the drop down button to apply some changes if you like. And for instance, you can disable comments coming from your audience during the webinar by clicking the V mark and cancel this option. But usually people leave it the way it is because it's already gotten optimal conditions automatically in order to have a great Hangout with no any disruption by your audience. And of course, if you want to apply some, let's call it, last moment changes, then you may want to go here, and you can always go and re-edit this Hangout or having more, guests, or even cancel and delete the whole thing, okay? Anyway, this right here is very important, because if you don't want your audience to watch your webinar in this Google Plus page, but in your personal brand website, your personal blog, then you can actually click here on links and either embed the code for your webinar on your blog by, let me just show you how to do this by going to my blog at the dashboard, and essentially you can paste the code right in the body of your blog post, or ultimately you can copy and paste the YouTube link for your webinar, because your webinar will be broadcasted on your YouTube channel, okay? And once you finish your webinar, your Hangout will be recorded, and of course it will be recorded to your personal YouTube channel, okay, automatically. So now let's start our webinar by clicking start, and a new window will pop up to give us the option to invite more people, and I'm just going to click on skip. And as you can see, we're going to have to wait, let's say, a few seconds before we can start broadcasting. Alright, let's wait. Okay, now we can actually click on start broadcasting and finally start the webinar by clicking OK. Okay, now we can officially talk to our audience as well as While broadcasting, you can apply, slight changes like, regulating the audio of your audience in order to minimize disruptions, or you can open, the comment section, as well as start a, a Q&A section after officially finishing the webinar and so forth. So once you finish your broadcast by clicking on Stop Broadcast, you'll get, you get a note up here that saying, this webinar was successfully ended, and then you'll see the recorded webinar on your Google Plus Hangout under events, okay? And this is it, guys. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching this tutorial. I hope you get some value out of that, and I'll see you guys on the next video.